Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Tea Talk and Tourism. I am Morgan Miles, your host, and I am thrilled to have you all back for episode 3 of our Sustainable Tourism series. So far, we've explored the deep blue marine conservation and gone wild with our incredible wildlife at the Belize Zoo. But today, we're shifting gears completely, and we're here to talk about what literally grounds us, our terrestrial ecosystems. Belize is lush, green, and teeming with life. From our forests to the rivers that carve through them, these ecosystems aren't just beautiful, they're vital. They provide us with clean air, fresh water, and so much more. But they're also under threat. And that's where conservation comes in. Joining me today is someone who knows our forests and watersheds inside out. Today, we have Janiel Chan, Research Officer at Yashe Conservation Trust. Janiel, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Morgan. I'm really excited to be here and share some of the amazing work we do in our terrestrial ecosystems.
Good. I am so glad that you're here. You're excited to talk to us on the show today. I'm excited to learn more about what you all do down there. So let's grab our tea, let's dive into our talk, and let's just have an amazing show while, we uncover why Belize's green heart is worth fighting for all over the country, right? All right, Janiel. So let's kick things off. For those who might not know kind of what makes terrestrial conservation so critical for Belize's environment and its people, can you tell us a bit about that?
Well, preservation of our forests is very essential for our livelihoods. We know that trees they do carbon storage.
Right.
So you might learn this in school that they intake carbon dioxide and they give us oxygen. So in that way, they absorb the carbon from out in the environment and keep it to themselves. And the way that they store it is that they put it like in their dead leaves, in their barks, in their logwoods.
Right.
That's where they have this carbon and store it for the forest. And then also they're very important when it comes to like flood control and then water filtration. As you might know, just a few days ago we had the tropical storm Stara, and there was a lot of flooding happening here in Cayo and in Belize districts. So the way that the forest works is that they have like a sort of like a drainage basin is what you call it inside the forest. So these areas is where these water flows into these drainage basins, and then ecosystems there thrive because these are seasonal. As you might know, we have the rain and dry season, and then
Wow. So our forests are basically the unsung heroes of Belize. I know that around the world they have different things like you were speaking about, with the carbon and the trees and stuff. They have where you can track your carbon credits and your carbon footprint, and they use mangroves, for example. Where there's different companies that are selling pieces of mangroves to kind of offset their carbon credits and their carbon footprint and so on. And so it's really interesting, when we talk about that kind of stuff there. It's amazing how much, we can do without us even noticing anything going on. But it's not all rainbows and sunshines, right? Like we have times where, it's rough. So what are some of the biggest challenges our forests are facing nowadays?
well, biggest challenges are like deforestation and then illegal logging.
Right.
Yeah, we have a lot of those. We have like incursions from the Guatemalan side. They go into our protected areas, and since it's very far away, we can't monitor these areas every day of the week. They take advantage of that, and then they cut our livelihood, and then that just affects us, you know. Also, like, there is expansion in our populations here in Belize, so people need more land to live. That's when they need also to divert into areas to fund their livelihoods, like agriculture. And what they do, they clear land, and then they start their agricultural practices, which sometimes are not very sustainable to say.
Right.
So yeah, so those are some of the challenges our forests face in today's world.
Right, and I mean, in our last episode, I don't know if you saw it, but we were talking about where, if we're gonna do certain things in Belize, we gotta do it the right way for conservation, for sustainability. So with the deforestation, I mean, for me, I think it's the best way is if you're taking a tree down, plant 3 trees for every tree that you take down, or try and figure out some kind of solution so that you're just not leaving bare land, or you're not stripping the land.
Right, and that's when it comes in. Like, we try to speak to these communities to have them understand these ways that it's not just cutting down. You give back as well. It's not just taking.
That's a lot to tackle, and I mean, it sounds like every decision that we make, it's a ripple effect for our environment, right? So let's talk a bit more about this side of conservation. The indigenous communities, have they lived sustainably with the land for centuries? Is it something new? And how are their traditions and knowledge helping conservation efforts today?
We had like a small little pilot project we did back in 2018, 2019, where we had 6 plots in one of our protected areas called the Golden Stream Corridor Preserve. So in these 6 plots, there is what you call cocoon trees, which these indigenous people use for, like touch their houses and other stuff. So what we were trying to figure out is what was the best sustainable way to harvest these leaves without like having any detrimental effects to these trees. So we use kind of their knowledge that they used before, like how much number of leaves you can cut and what to leave for the trees to not to die. And then we had other like variables we were trying to measure in this pilot project. So that was very helpful for us to figure out what was the best sustainable way to harvest these leaves so that they can continue to use it for their livelihoods and then not cause detrimental effects to the population of these trees in the protected area.
Wow, that's so inspiring. It's kind of like we're blending in wisdom from the past with innovation for the future, and I bet like the young people are starting to get into action as well, right? They're starting to kind of have more to do with everything going on.
Oh yes, we try to work a lot with young people. Me, myself, I work with these young individuals when it comes to watershed management.
Yes.
We incorporate 2 eco groups that we are currently working with right now. So the way we go about with working with them is that we collect data on the watershed health. Mainly their rivers in their communities. So we have these young people and we train them how to go about collecting this information, and then then once these information are processed, then we disseminate this information back to them, telling them, oh, here your water is very clean, but here you need to improve on, or here you're doing very good and your water is very healthy.
Right.
And that's how we go about. Yeah, and through this initiative, we kind of sparked the interest of one of our eco groups. So this eco group was through a CFLI initiative. This eco group was, founded within the community. So we're happy to inspire these young individuals, and we would like to share this knowledge with other communities.
Right, that's great. I've seen a lot of photos of your eco youth programs and they look amazing from what I've seen so far. Hopefully I can maybe volunteer one day and go down there and help you all track all of your watershed stuff, and that would be amazing.
we love the help.
Good. So what's it like working with the young Belizeans to inspire the next generation of conservationists?
Well, we would like for them to inspire other youths in other communities. That's something we would like to work on in the nearby future, where we can incorporate other eco groups or spark interest, like how we did with one of the eco groups. We would like these young individuals to speak their mind. I think it would be great, just throwing my little 2 cents out there. We had Oceana on the show a while back, and their wave makers that they have are just
phenomenal. And there are, I don't even know how many wave makers they told us that Jacinta told us about. But maybe partnering with someone like Oceana and getting their wave makers to go down and help and, volunteer for a watershed program or something that you all were doing. I think that would be great.
Right. With all the help we can get,
yes.
The more the merrier.
Yeah, so that's what I love to hear. That's all, everyone hands on deck. We're protecting Belize, doing everything sustainably and, everything that has to do with conservation. That's what I live for. So the indigenous communities, have they lived sustainably with the land for centuries, or is this something new that they've, started to live with? And how are their traditions and knowledge helping conservation efforts today? Can you tell me a bit about that?
We have this system called agroforestry farming, and where we incorporate farming, traditional farming, but also with a sustainable manner.
Right.
So the way we go about doing this is we have our technical persons, our extension officers that go out into the field and give trainings to these farmers on how to go about doing this agroforestry farms. They can either join the cacao agroforestry, ingali cropping, or even incorporate beekeeping into their farms. So in this manner, they can thrive in their agricultural aspect of it,
right.
While also being sustainable and not cutting all the wood, cutting all the trees down.
Right.
So if they would like to delve into like cacao agroforestry, then this creates like shade for your farm, so it's not all clear.
It does, yes.
Yeah, and then there's also the inga ali cropping, where we give farmers like some seedlings, and then they can grow this plant, and then this plant is responsible to making the soil more fertile.
Right.
So and then at the same time they can use this plant for like logwood, for example. They can cut it down because it grows back.
Right.
And then the leaves itself are the ones that are mainly responsible for making the soil better. So by cutting it down, you don't practice the slash and burn.
Right.
You go into slash and mulch, which is just cutting it down and leaving it on the ground, and then that fertilizes the soil. You don't need to use like chemical fertilizers and
right.
what's not that. It's more degrading to the soil in the years to come.
Right. And I mean, soil, when you look at it, this is just me being, the little farmer that I am. When you start looking at, the benefits of soil and having good soil, soil actually, I believe, captures carbon as well. And there's some kind of intricate little system that happens. I mean, we're definitely not going to go into that right now because there's no time for that. But yes, it's interesting, how everything is connected and how everything works. And then even like you all working with cacao, that's amazing. Growing up, my parents were big in the cacao industry down south, and they actually opened up the first ever bean to bar chocolate in Belize.
Oh, really?
They did, yes.
Nice.
They, the piney sign that's down there.
Yeah.
They built that sign.
Wow.
Yes, they did. So it's amazing, everything, that we're talking about, like it's hitting so close to home, and I love it. It's great. So what is the next terrestrial conservation in Belize? What is the next goal that you guys have, or what's on the horizon that you can tell us about?
Well, we would love to work with more farmers. We have this camera trapping initiative we do with agroforestry farms.
Yes.
Whereby we go putting these camera traps in these farms, and then we can see all the wildlife that goes into this farm. So and then this helps the farmer because sometimes we engage them into like ecotourism.
Right.
They provide tours as well to some people that might be interested in farming, and in that way they can showcase what kind of wildlife is in their farms, either jaguars.
Look, hey, a jaguar came on my property.
Yes. Farms even have like all the 5 wild cats.
Oh, for sure, mine does.
Nice.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Not nice for me, but yes, it does.
Yeah, and then also any prey species, and in that way we can measure how these populations tend to thrive in these farming practices that are sustainable for our environment, and then kind of have a gist of it, like what we're doing is actually working, and we're not chasing away these animals more deep into the forest with all the farming that's
and I'm sure you guys probably have a lot of projects or here's me being hopeful, as I should say, that you all, more encouraging of the youth and bringing them into more things that you all are doing and more volunteer work and so on. Hopefully that's on the horizon for you guys as well.
Right. Just be posted into our Facebook page. We'll be posting we'll try to incorporate more eco groups in the nearby future. You can look out for that in watershed management.
Yeah, I mean, it all sounds so incredible. It's clear that the work that you all are doing is something that is really making a difference in Belize. So thank you for all of that. And viewers, please follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and so on.
Yes, please. And also follow Yais.
There you go. So Janiel, thank you so much for sharing, your passion and everything that you do, your expertise with us and our viewers. Belize's forests and rivers are truly, our livelihood, our life, everything that kind of makes Belize what it is. So the work that you all are doing and putting into it, we really do appreciate it. It's truly inspiring to see how much is being done, to protect them and what they're doing to protect us. There's so much that these trees and everything are doing, and we just don't even realize. So thank you again.
Sure, anytime. We love to share about our work and what we do.
Good. All right, folks, that's it for today's episode of Tea Talk and Tourism. Next week, we're wrapping up this season with an episode about safeguarding Belize's vibrant cultures. So grab your tea, keep your talk ready, and let's keep this conversation rolling. See you next time, Belize.